Girona have been the surprise package across the European big leagues this season, currently lying top at the start of game week 14. Today, we're going to unwrap their unusual kind of in-possession shape. It is a 4-3-3, but it looks completely different in possession. And with a couple of little tweaks and changes, PI instructions, we've got this tactic looking really good in the match engine. All right, guys, let's get into it. It is a start of tactics week on the channel. There is tactic videos Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week. So make sure you are subscribed. Let's go. Now, this is the 4-3-3 Girona. I'm going to talk to you about everything, including the PIs and the TIs. Everything will be covered, along with a couple of clips at the end. To all the patrons on the screen right now, your support is tremendous this time of year, so muchly appreciated. If you want the tactic download, then check out the link down in the description, but I'm going to go for everything right now. So, on paper, it looks like a 4-3-3, but very unique in terms of build-up, in particular, the rotations on this left-hand side, the movements of the midfielders, and the combination of the two wide players as well, and how that fits into the system. So, in build-up, it often looks like a 3-1-3-3. So, you've got your three attacking players here is Savio, Tishkanov, and Dovbik. Tremendous signing, by the way. 7.75 million euros, I think he was, from Dnipro. How it ends up doing, we've got Gutierrez on this left-hand side, but he basically comes into the middle of midfield. We've got him on attack, which we'll talk about, but basically we're going to try and create a little bit of a system that looks like this. So what we've got is the right-back is a little bit more conservative, and we'll talk about his role actually in important, a couple of my little tweaks you might want to change. Gerrit Garcia, very much the only man back. At times, they literally just have one defender because Anu will probably go in here and support the winger, and Daley Blind goes into all sorts of areas. He goes into midfield. You can see him actually getting into the penalty box at times as well. But in build-up, they generally build from a back three with David Lopez or one of the other sitters, sometimes Garcia, can come sometimes drop in here as the halfback in build-up. But that's what we're looking at recreating as much as possible. So how do we do that? It has been a little bit tricky, but I have managed to find a nice little balance. So, Gazaniga, the ex-Spurs and Fulham goalkeeper, sweeper keeper on support, wanting to build out from the back as much as we possibly can. Fullback on support, Arnau Martinez. I have noticed, and I think this will be a thing that comes unstuck for Girona, that they're going to concede a lot of goals. A little bit different to Leverkusen, where I think Leverkusen might go on and win the Bundesliga this year. I think Girona, with the amount of chances they're kind of conceding sometimes at the other end, they're going to come unstuck. And that's because we have Gutierrez moving forward, we have Blind moving forward, we also sometimes have Martinez moving forward. So if you're wanting to just be a little more defensively solid, if you're not an absolute top team in your division at the current time when you're playing with this tactic, a nice little tweak could be just the inverted fullback on defend. Really nice role that I've been using in my Malaga save. Garcia, ball-playing defender. He's in there because he's a ball player. Him and Daley Blind are not the greatest 1v1 defenders. Not a lot of physicality as well from them, but tremendous with the ball at their feet. So, ball-playing defender. I've got him on cover just so he makes sure that he hangs back a little bit more and allows the other three defenders around him to push on into maybe midfield areas. Left-hand side, Daley Blind. Now, we can't do wide centre-back on attack. Would have probably been, or definitely on support, would have probably been the most realistic option for him, but you can't do that in a back four. I didn't also want to lose the shape. We could have done a lopsided, we could have done something that would have ended up looking like that, and we could have got the wide centre back in, but it doesn't then help the role of Lopez. He generally sits in there and then drops it in possession, so that didn't work. So the way round it was, get him as a libero on support, with the player instructions of dribble more and stay wider. And then hopefully that when we're in possession, because Gutierrez will go into these areas here, that then Daley Blind will then move into these wider areas in build-up and act as a little bit of a left-back. That's the way around it. Obviously, out of possession as well, they kind of line up in a standard sort of like 4-3-3. They get that bank of four in, that back four in as quickly as possible. So out of possession, which this is, that's what suits it best. And then just hopefully with these PIs that we've got in the game will hopefully help us develop that in-possession stuff. Gutierrez is a absolute free spirit. Very much similar to sort of like Marcelo at Fluminense, by the way. We've got a Denise video coming later on in the week. He literally sometimes just goes absolutely everywhere. And the only way we could do it is an inverted wing back. And I've gone extra and we've got on attack because he often gets into these areas here. And I think just on attack, he's going to have more license to roam around the pitch. Get into that middle. Remember, we want to make that 3-1-3-3. in possession, and he's going to go in there and help the midfielders. Into the middle midfield, we've got the halfback, no player instructions, asking him to drop in. Once again, him dropping in there will allow us then to build a little bit and just get Daley Blind into these wide areas, because if when he drops in there, Gutierrez will naturally go into the midfield, and I'm just hoping that then allows, because Lopez is coming in there, that then naturally allows Daley Blind to come into these areas here. Quite a basic structure in terms of a box-to-box midfielder. This could be a ball-winning midfielder. It could be central midfielder on support, just as an 8. And then the other side is Yangel Herrera, ex-Manchester City player. I've got him as a Carrilero with the instruction as get further forward, because what we're trying to create is, in possession, very similar to what Leverkusen do at times, is get this wide overload in. So we'll often play down the right-hand side, and Herrera's obviously going to be a big part of that. So with the Carrilero, he's going to come into these areas here. And what we're trying to create a little bit of in possession is a little bit of an overload on this side. So with Angel as the Carrilero, he's going to come out wide. And then what we try and do is then work it, get an overload in this side, suck the players across, and then can we exploit the left-hand side where we've got Savio on that left-hand side, superb 1v1 dribbler. And then we've also got to remember, get further forward, just because box occupation is quite a big thing. They do get lots of crosses into the box, so box occupation I thought would be good to just get him a little bit further forward. 2 wingers, very much different. Tishkanov is an old Crystal Palace. Remember Crystal Palace from a few years ago? He was absolutely superb. Left-footed, but we're asking him to stay wide. Because of the movements of the midfielders, so Gutierrez coming into this midfield role, it's important. We've got loads of people into like the half spaces. Very important that he keeps his width. But we've got him a winger on support with the player instruction cut inside because he is left-footed. On the left-hand side, winger on attack, stay wide. Obviously, that's sort of like the hard-coded instructions. But he can go both ways. He's better going on to his left because he is left-footed, right-footed weak. But we do see him drift. One player instruction could be roam from position if you're just not getting that movement there. But I've kind of seen it already in the match engine. But we wanted him to stay wide. Remember, shuffle across the right-hand side, create that overload, and then can we work it out to Savio to create a 1v1. And then up front, one of my favourite roles at the moment, I must say, target forward on attack. Obviously, been brought in particular to do a job, 6'2". They also have the veteran Stuani, so 2 kind of target man players. But Dovbyk just gives us a little bit extra going in behind, 14 pace. So that's why we've got him on tag, because he does like to pin the 2 centre-halves back and make them just aware that he has got a little bit to go in behind. Whereas Stuani at his age, 35, 36, he's obviously just going to come in short and play to feet. So that's a nice little one to use, I think, in any lone striker. Him pinning the 2 defenders back and then maybe get a couple of 8s, a 10 in here to create some problems. No player instructions on him at the moment, but one that I might recommend and might change at some point if I was carrying on this save would be moving to channels, because he does like to work. He is a classic number 9, so you might often see him working the channels a little bit. Okay, positive mentality. I thought about attacking because they take risks constantly. However, their build-up is quite slow. When with their field tilt numbers not being absolutely massive, just show that they're quite patient in and around in their half. And then when they do get it into their third, they do play quickly and quite direct. So we've just gone with positive. I thought maybe attacking with Girona was maybe just a little bit of an overkill. Fairly wide. However, when we're playing against teams that we've been dominating in pre-season, I have moved that on to wide just to make sure that we could potentially get Savio a little bit wider, a little bit more space out there to create a 1v1. I did think about focus play down the right just to try and replicate that overload on the right-hand side and that switch to the left. So that is something definitely you could do and click that on. I've not done it. I said I've only played a few games just to get the basis right, but that definitely, if you're not getting that shift to one side and then that switch, then that would be one that you could definitely do. Shorter passing, slightly higher tempo, hit crosses into the box, high numbers in terms of crosses for Girona this season, and be more expressive just to hopefully allow those midfield rotations, the movement of the libero, the inverted wing back. In transition, counter press definitely. I've not counter attacked, I've left that off. Distribution, left that off as well. Take short kicks, but we've gone and we've distributed. So right here, look, distribute to area or player. At the moment and position, we're distributing to Eric Garcia. He's the one that normally drops off, and I just think with him dropping off and getting on the ball, it might then just allow Daley Blind, because he's not having to be the first pass, it might once again just allow Daley Blind to get into that wider sort of like centre-back role that we're wanting him to do. Take short kicks from the goalkeeper. Look, we're committing bodies forward to high press, much higher line, much more trigger press as well. Step up more because they do leave Garcia quite exposed at times, and trap outside. Just remember the tactic is available to download down in the description. There is tactic videos every day this week and every week throughout FM24. So if you want your tactic file, check out the Patreon. Okay, so the first one's just a little look at the shape that we've created. As you can see, super aggressive in possession. So if you're really wanting to dominate games when you're a super sort of like a stronger side in the division, then this tactic might well be for you. Obviously, they often have R now, but he's just taken a throw. So he's kind of gone into the middle third. But there's our 3. There's our 1. We've got the midfield 3. There's our inverted wing back on attack. And then you've got your front 3. And all we do is just work it constantly. Look at Gutierrez, pretty much in as like an advanced playmaker position. And then this one's a build-up. It's an absolute superb. Remember, we're trying to suck players to the right and then switch to the left. Obviously, Daley Blind has started as a centre-back, but just watch his movement. As we've got stay wider on in possession, he does drift out to the left. And then what it does is when it comes back inside, look, we've now got our back 3, look. With Daley Blind as pretty much the left back. What we don't get straight away is Gutierrez coming inside. We don't get that naturally as much. But when the ball does switch sides, he does then look to come in. So as you can see now, we've worked around their press pretty good. Gutierrez and Daley Blind. There is Gutierrez. Sorry, I can just click up. There is Gutierrez, look. And we will shift it across to the right. So you can see now he's coming into play. There is Daley Blind. And there is Savio. Remember, we wanted to create that 1v1 with him. Tishkanov comes in, cuts inside like you'd expect onto his left foot, and we play. And because we've sucked over a number of bodies, look, we've actually created pretty much a 3v2 in here with Gutierrez, Alex Garcia, the box-to-box in the inverter, and the inverted fullback, and then Savio. And we managed to get into Garcia, and look at the space. Bellerin's had to come in to press the midfielder, and then it's created that space out there. And then Savio, 1v1. Nice little bit of football. We worked it well. If anything, Savio would have. I think this was real life. Savio would have probably got himself and not cut back. But there you go. A really good clip of how to build up with that overload at one side and then the switch out to the other. And I think it also gives you a good indication of what you get from the libero. As you can see, he's right in there. And at points, he'll actually even get into the penalty area. Another one just from the throw. As you can see, once again, we've sucked everyone across. Look at Daley Blind. There is my cover defender. We've got our right back. We've got our sitter. Herrera, the Carrilero, coming as wide as possible. Gutierrez, right in there. So we've got our lopsided 3. And what's it's creating those 1v1, 2v1 opportunities over on that far side. Let's see if we can work it across. So we work back. Obviously, Eric Garcia wants to be on the ball. Tremendous ball player. I think you need good ball players for this tactic. You know, they've signed really cleverly. Both defenders are ball-playing defenders in Garcia and Blind. And then David Lopez just coming into that half-back position. Blind coming really wide as a libero. You'd maybe expect with that stay wider instruction on. Maybe that just pushes him out there. Maybe just another 10 yards. And then we're off and he's travelling. He's carrying. Gutierrez, Garcia. And another strike on goal. And then once again, build up on the right-hand side. We start with a throw. Look at the amount of bodies we've got coming in. Daley Blind's a bit narrow, but that will probably soon change. As you can see, he's heading out, and we're going to play. So we've sucked players across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You could say 9 if you cut the pitch in half, look, all the way down the middle. 9 of Betis's outfield players have all come into one half. And as you can see, if you called it that, we've created a 3v1 on that far side. And then we work it across, look. And now they've got to quickly shuffle. Savio, for me, could have been a little bit wider there. So maybe opening the pitch out even more and making sure that he stays as wide as possible and making that pitch width maybe a little bit bigger might have just helped. He would have had a little bit more time. He does hit the line really well, to be fair. Now, we actually lost that game to Betis. Not a bad start to the season. 1-0 away from them. 36 fans we took. But the 1-1 draw against Athletic Club, after going 1-0 down, as you could see, the statistics are really good. 51% possession, 4 clear-cut chances. They only had 3 shots, 1 on target, which they scored from. And then we've had a really good effort to an XG of 2.44. And our goal, guys, is really good. It's just that libero stepping forward, taking risks as well, which you'd expect from Daley Blind. He's a tremendous passer of the ball. Okay, so we'll play it from here. There's a header out. Gutierrez has kept it alive. Look at the libero. Hand up, give me the ball. I want to get on it. And then it's a lovely switch. Tishkinov as well, keeping the width on that right-hand side as much as possible. Always an out ball as well if you've got that quality. Left does help, obviously, having the left foot of Daily Blind sweeping round. Something Eric Ten Hag always says about his back four, always wanting that left footer on the left side. Tishkinov in, and then Dovbyk, target man forward. It's not always beautiful. To be fair, that was a beautiful goal, but that's just a header and goal. Target forward and tack. I suggest you give it a go. All right, guys, that is the first one of the week. I have absolutely loved just seeing how this works in FM. Things are starting to come together with this match engine that you can recreate stuff a lot more better than we could in previous years. And we will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is the Malaga 4-2-3-1. We're talking 70% possession, dominating games with 4 variants of my 4-2-3-1. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Take care. See you later.